But speaking about the aforementioned Tim Taranto, let's go ahead and talk about him because news has broke recently that some Victorian clubs are circling around the young gun, the young midfielder from the Giants, with Richmond and Collingwood being among the key suitors in case he seeks a trade. A lot of this speculation comes on. Tim Taranto has been saying pretty silent about this, or saying pretty private with his choice. A lot of it is believed to come down to who is going to be taking over the mantle for GWS next season, which of course is a totally logical thing to do if you're a player. You kind of want to see who's running the club if you want to make a decision. I think that's perfectly fine about that one. But remember the second overall pick in the 2016 draft. He's out of contract at the end of this season, but not a free agent until 2024. So we got, like I said, it's the Tigers and Magpies that seem to be keen on taking him back to Melbourne if he decides that he wants to leave and trade that is going to work out here. So, first off, I hate this thought because I would love to keep Tim Taranto on this team for the foreseeable future because he's great and he's still super young. And he kind of broke out last year as well. I became a huge fan of him for his performances last year. I think I remember him being huge in their regular season game against Geelong late in the year that helped propel them to finals. I love the kid. He's older than me. Why am I calling him a kid? Damn. I love the man.
That's funny.
I think I hope he's going to stay. I hope they get some good. Maybe Clarko is why he's going to stay here. But I guess we'll see. What do you think about this one? Is he on the move, or what can save him, if anything?
It'll be interesting for that one. Timmy Taranto is one of the. My thing is, I see a high possibility he hits free agency because GWS just runs into is that they have so many young, talented superstars that they got to pay.
He signed some people.
Eventually, you just can't pay them all. It's the crazy thing about it is just how many GWS players that were drafted by GWS now find themselves in different places purely because of this. Like. Jeremy Cameron, Adam Treloar, Aiden Core. There's so many.
It's so depressing. You could literally make it stop. You could stop there. I don't need to hear these names.
If you think that's bad, Gold Coast is just as bad. Like legitimately, yeah. Gold Coast is just as bad. I remember watching a game this week. They showed a highlight of one of Gold Coast's biggest wins over the Magpies back in like 2010, and 80% of the guys that featured for Gold Coast in that game don't play for the club anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, like Tom Lynch, Dixon, Ablett Jr.,
I don't know why I keep
May.
Tom Lynch.
Yeah, like that. The scary part to think about is how many superstars were drafted up to Gold Coast and have left since then. And it's the same thing a little bit with GWS.
Clearly to get that team going.
Well, you could say the same thing for GWS a little bit too, and I think that's kind of like
Adam
Treloar is a former GWS player. Dylan Shield. There's so many. So unfortunately I see Taranto being another one of those. He's a casualty because of the finances. Unless something changes, or unless he's going to take a lot less money than he's probably expecting, I see Taranto hitting the free agency market. Does he stay in Sydney and try to go over to the red side? I highly doubt it, because I think like I'm seeing like a few tweets from a few friends of mine that are like who would you prefer, Dusty Martin or Tim Taranto? The majority of the answer is neither. Like I am legitimately not kidding with you. Like the most people that have responded to that when they say neither, and the reason that they say that is because why spend $1 million on a guy like Dusty Martin or a Tim Taranto when you can spread that $1 million among 6 or 7 players of your youngsters for your
Dusty's
future?
definitely gonna be worth more. I think Tim's probably gonna be closer to like that 700,000 range, which is still a good chunk of money, but at least he's not going to be looking for. Well, he likely isn't, and he probably isn't going to get that 7-figure mark. Definitely going to be interesting to see where he lies because, especially depending on his price point, depending on the club he makes it to, man, that could be a hell of an impact player. Especially maybe see him on Collingwood next year, that definitely adds a little bit of a
Which is really,
bite
really
to them.
interesting considering 2 years ago we were getting on Collingwood about having to salary dump to save their salary, and now all of a sudden they have tons of salary cap space. So it's kind of interesting
Guess
to
they did a
have
good
that
job.
discussion. They're already, it sounds like they're pretty much on the last legs of signing Daniel McStay from the Lions to be another forward for the Collingwood Magpies, which could be interesting on how does that affect the future of your favorite player, Mason Cox. So I don't know.
Mason Cox at GWS, bring it on, Donnie. Let's go.
Oh boy, it'll be interesting to
Let's
see.
go.
I have a hard time seeing Taranto staying at GWS unless he takes a pay cut. Like, and that's and it would hurt. It would
And he
really
has
would
no
hurt.
reason to.
But I agree. It's just with the caliber of player that he is, I highly doubt that. So unfortunately, I potentially see him donning a new Guernsey next year.
Yeah, honestly, the last thing I would be is mad or disappointed if he refuses to take a pay cut, because that man deserves to make a decent bit of cash in his next contract. So we'll see what happens there. It's been nice knowing him, though. So I'm just going to let that one go in peace, apparently. But let us know your thoughts on those couple on that. Where is Tim Taranto going to end up next year? Is he going to stay with GWS? Is he on the move? Or is GWS going to end up with Mason Cox, the best American footy player of all time, and the best American Australian footy player of all time as well? Please let it happen. Put that into the world so I can see the best player in the league on the best team in the league.